Hi, Ms Legalista here, aka Attorney Sheila. I am going to be talking about apologies. We're going to start with Tasha K apologizing now that her appeal was lost and she really does have to pay Cardi B $4 million. We're also going to talk about the GloRilla stampede, the apology tweet she put out, and all of this I'm really talking about because someone posted in one of my comments regarding Tyree Nichols saying, hey, the officers didn't even bother to apologize. Well, would you be okay if someone had done you wrong? Would you be okay just a little bit more if somebody legitimately apologized to you? Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's first go back to Tasha K and Cardi B. Now, remember, Tasha K dragged Cardi B hard, left her with all kinds of bruises, as Cardi B testified, saying that these statements that Tasha K put out about her that were untrue really were painful to her. And she sued. Well, the appeal just came out yesterday, day before. I can't even remember now. I did a video on that. Definitely check that out. But Tasha K lost that appeal. So she really does have to pay Cardi B this money. But on her Instagram page, Tasha K put out an apology. I want to take a look at that so that we can talk about it. Let me see if I can pull this up because I have to put on my glasses to be able to see this. This is Tasha K's Unwind with Tasha K Instagram account. And let's check over here at this apology that she shared. It says, we lost the appeal against Cardi B, sad day, but I'm going to be all right. I appreciate all your love and support throughout this fight. Today, we throw in the white flag, meaning we surrender. What happened will never happen again. Maybe she's saying she learned a lesson. To Cardi B and her team, I apologize. Sincere. We live and learn. See y'all on Wednesday on YouTube and Tasha K Live. How many of you think that this is a sincere apology? Because I know some people are going to say, I think that she's only saying that now because she has to pay. She's had all this time to apologize to her, to come forward, to say, yes, I did you wrong, Cardi B. I'm so sorry. And yet she didn't. I know some of you are going to feel that way. But even now, she still doesn't really have to come out here like this and say, I'm throwing in the white flag. What I did will, never happen again. She doesn't have to say all of that, and yet she does. It takes a lot for people who are especially in the public sphere to admit to doing something wrong and apologizing in front of tons of people. And this person says, hey, she apologized. Let's move on. Stop judging her. Love, many on here have said worse. I never thought I would hear you admit this or see you apologize, but 2023 is the year of accountability. So get on an affordable payment plan and don't repeat the same mistake. And you have 1,000 people liking this, I think that is a good sign here. And Tasha K has a very large following across her platforms. So I think this is very meaningful. You have over 8,000 people liking this. This is a lot of engagement. So you can see here, well, this, of course, they liked more. We know that was one of her typical posts there. But this sort of apology still got a lot of love, which sort of says to me that people appreciate somebody stepping up and apologizing. Now, we also have GloRilla, who, of course, had the concert where 3 people are now deceased. And here is what she shared on Twitter a few days after that incident. It says, I am devastated and heartbroken over the tragic deaths that happened after Sunday's show. My fans mean the world to me. praying for their families and for a speedy recovery of everyone affected. This has had over 400,000 views and over 7,000 likes. And of course, you do have some people who are posting some comments. This person's like, just posting this now. Well, she said she had just learned about it. But, even for her to step up and say this and to say, praying for families and for a speedy recovery, let's talk about this, because here's the issue right now. As today goes on, it's early in the morning. I have already seen news reports that state that some of those families are going to be suing her and possibly the venue for getting her for the deaths that were caused. I don't know how that breaks down, but there's already conversation that this is going to take place. People are already saying that they are going to file lawsuits. An attorney for her would likely say, "Ugh, I wish you hadn't put that statement out there because it looks like an admission of guilt." On the legal side of things, attorneys are always telling their clients to zip it, not say anything. But imagine how it must feel to the other party when you say nothing. You say absolutely nothing. You don't acknowledge the pain that their family is going through, the injury that they've suffered, and how they feel. And it looks to them like you're just going on about your life as if nothing has happened. And I have had some people say that in my comments for the videos that I've been sharing about the officers who've been charged in the death of Tyree Nichols. They're just like, they don't even apologize. They don't even say they're sorry. They just go on with their lives. There are some attorneys who will say nothing, say absolutely nothing, give no interviews. Unlike some of these other people you see who've been charged, who are all out on Twitter posting all kinds of things that are not helpful. And I'm not speaking of GloRilla here. I'm speaking of other people. Their attorneys are probably cringing and would like to see those accounts shut down because their clients are talking too much about some of the legal liabilities that they're facing. But how do we move forward? One of the things that a number of states have done that a number of states have passed would be something called apology laws. Now, these were sort of being used to give doctors, this was one of the examples, to give doctors a way to say, "I'm sorry" to a family without incurring legal liability. In other words, it was not going to be used against them as some sort of admission of guilt. I want to go to this one page. I think it's California's. Let me get rid of this other page. California Bar Journal has an article here that I want to take a look at. It's titled, "Sometimes an Apology Can Deter a Lawsuit." Here's the thing. I'm not necessarily talking about this from a legal perspective necessarily, because we already know the concern is that when you start talking, it starts sounding like you're admitting guilt. And you don't want to admit guilt or sound like you're admitting guilt if you still have possible criminal charges that you're facing or a civil lawsuit that somebody could be bringing against you. What you want to be making is a statement of sympathy. You want to acknowledge the other person's pain or loss. GloRilla kind of hit on that with her statement, the way she talked about prayers and feeling for the family and that sort of thing. She did it in a way that didn't admit guilt, but said to the families, I feel your pain. I'm so sorry that this happened." So there is a way to do this. But I want to talk about this particular article. It is, like I said, in the California Bar Journal. "Sometimes an apology can deter a lawsuit," written by Diane Curtis. I don't know when this came out, but she was talking about this one case in here. But I want to go down to this part where it says, apology and disclosure are making headways in legal disputes or even before a legal dispute has arisen. In the Woods case, the apology came in the lawsuit, including Michael Woods, who died of a heart attack after being admitted for a sore throat and vomiting. A doctor testified that she ordered that he be put on a heart monitor, but that never happened. Testimony indicated Woods was on a gurney in the hospital hallway for more than an hour when he had his heart attack. So this was where this medical malpractice suit came into play. But here's what this talks about here. It says that there's some studies that have been done that show apologies can help resolve legal disputes in cases ranging from medical malpractice and divorce and custody to disputed dismissals and personal injury. It says conventional wisdom, and this is what I was saying before, conventional wisdom has been to avoid apologies because they amount to an admission of guilt that can be damaging to defendants in court. Remember the whole Miranda. Everybody has heard this before. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Remember that statement? We've all heard it and seen it in all sorts of TV shows, and we all know it. It's like, don't you have to read me my rights that tell me I don't have to say anything to you? I don't have to answer any of your questions because they could be used against me. But this says, hey, studies show or suggest apologies can actually play a positive role in settling legal cases. And here's the piece I think right here that we should be thinking about. The apology fulfills some of the goals that triggered the suit, such as the need for respect to assign responsibility and to get a sense that what happened won't happen again. Remember what Tasha K said? She said, this is not going to happen again. She surrendered the white flag. So receiving an apology can reduce financial aspirations and make it possible for parties to enter into discussions about settlement. And this is a really big deal here. So here's another piece down here that I want to talk about. It says the apology accepts that real harm was caused by his or her conduct and that the victim did not deserve the harm. Think here about the Tyree Nichols case, right? Where he certainly did not deserve what happened to him, what was done to him. It says restitution comes after the apology. Apologies make a huge difference, but they have to be sincere. If the offender is not remorseful, we don't want to re-victimize the victim. So that's what I want to share out of this need for us to have more apology laws in place so that when that initial hurt is done, there is a way for the person who caused the harm to be able to express and extend sympathy to the other party, to recognize the pain and suffering that they are going through, and to be able to do that without that coming into play in the courtroom. We need to be able to separate those two out to some extent. And I say this so that the people who have been hurt can start to process some of their pain. It is really hard to do that if you don't feel like the other party even cared about what they did or that they care about the harm that you're still going through, or this feeling that they did this harm and now there's no immediate consequences. They're just getting up daily, doing whatever it is they want to do while you're still suffering daily. That's something to think about. So I hope this sort of gives you a little bit more information about why you often don't see people who are facing civil lawsuits and criminal charges, why you don't see them putting statements of apology or statements of sympathy out there, because they know that they may be facing a civil lawsuit or criminal charge. My phone is just going off. And so they hesitate to put that out there because they're concerned that it may be used against them. And their attorneys may be telling them not to also because they're concerned about making sure that they provide the best possible legal advice to their client. And then the party who has been harmed is the one who continues to be harmed the most in this scenario. So I hope that provides you, again, with some information about apologies, apology laws, and we can think about maybe viewing and doing this a little differently. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Mwah. Peace.